News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Worrying about bottling Missoula's water comes up at the condemnation trial. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Monday, March 30th, 2015. Thank you for joining us. Hope you had a wonderful weekend in western Montana. Right now, the sky is mostly clear. It's 33 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast sponsored by Boot Barn, where they celebrate everyday heroes who work hard for their families. Big savings on work apparel and boots located in South Crossing. During the Mountain Water Company condemnation trial Friday, Karen Knutson, executive director of an environmental group called the Clark Fork Coalition, offered some testimony about the possible bottling of Missoula water for export. Knutson said she became concerned after a May meeting with Mountain Water President John Kappas.
Mr. Kappas informed me that Carlisle would be willing to transfer the reassurances, the resource stipulations in the 2011 letter agreement, with the exception of the clause that would prevent bottling.
Did he give you any indication whether that was a possible development that had been discussed among Carlisle or Mountain Water?
Yes, he said it was under discussion.
Knutson said she was startled at the revelation.
I was taken aback. I did not expect to have this put in front of me, given the fact that we had been having conversations about water stewardship for 2 or almost 3 years. And bottling was a huge concern of the Clark Fork Coalitions, and we had been on record expressing that concern in 2011, so I was rather startled that that would be excluded from the reassurances.
The Clark Fork Coalition had pushed for the bottling of water to be prohibited during the sale to Carlisle back in 2011, after opposing that sale. Now, Knutson said she fears Park Water may not accept that stipulation. The Montana legislature has turned away a proposal that, if enacted by voters, would have given people grounds to disobey any state laws that violate their religion. Representatives failed House Bill 615 on a 50-50 vote Friday. The bill resembles a recent Indiana law. Supporters say the measure would bring to the state level a 1993 federal law aimed at preventing legislation that substantially burdens a person's right to exercise religion. However, Democrat Representative Bryce Bennett of Missoula says the proposal would legalize discrimination and ask minorities in Montana to live in fear. Senators have given initial approval to a proposal that would levy heavy fines against companies that close coal plants in Montana. Senators voted 26-24 Friday to endorse Senate Bill 402, which moved out of the Senate Finance and Claims Committee on a 10-3 vote on Tuesday. Bill sponsor Republican Senator Dwayne Ankney says his proposal scared off a bill in the Washington state legislature that would have made it easier for companies to shutter the 4 coal mining units in Colstrip, Montana. Missoula police have been able to recover misappropriated funds from a scam that led from the state of Tennessee to New York to the African country of Nigeria and all the way back to Missoula. Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
Scam investigation is difficult at best, and so the fact that we were able to return some money and stop a local effort here to steal people's money is a good thing.
Welsh explains the confusing yet very effective scam that involves at least 3 people.
The victims place an ad on the internet to sell items, and they are contacted by a person who tells them that they're interested in purchasing the items, and then in fact sends them a check for the amount asked, plus several $100s more than what the asking price was.
Welsh explains how the scam was completed.
The wire transfer takes place, and then the original complainant discovers that the check he was sent bounces. It's a bad check. And so he's suddenly out the money that he wired out to the next step in the line.
Welsh said the downside was the local contact here in Missoula had started an online relationship with the woman from Nigeria and ended up simply being used. A southern Montana ski area resumed normal operations yesterday, and weather conditions improved, allowing firefighters to attack wildfires that ignited the previous day in the state and in northern Wyoming. Red Lodge Mountain Ski Area spokesman Jeff Carroll said the ski mountain was open and the snow was good on Sunday morning. At a ceremony in Helena on Friday, the Montana Law Enforcement Academy held its graduation ceremonies. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox's spokesman John Barnes has details.
We had 49 new officers who graduated from the Montana Law Enforcement Academy basic course today, and they came from 33 different city, county, and state law enforcement agencies around the state.
Several were from western Montana, but one Missoula County Sheriff's deputy won 3 distinctive awards. Barnes says Deputy T.J. Manraxa set himself apart from the rest of the graduating class.
He received the award that goes to the student who has the highest level of proficiency in the vehicle operation course. He also received the award given to the student who achieves the highest accumulated score on all of the academic and skills-based training. And then the deputy also received the award for the officer who achieves the highest level of academic standing.
Others who graduated from the academy from western Montana included Paul Devers with the Sheriff's Department, Bryce Bear and Luke Stensley from the Missoula City Police Department, and Craig Robertson from the Stevensville Police Department. A 28-year-old man has died. Another man has been injured in a motorcycle accident in Havre. The Highway Patrol said the accident occurred about 11:10 Friday night when it failed to negotiate a left turn and struck a concrete barrier. The patrol said the man who died was from Havre. The injured 25-year-old man was from Dillon. No names have yet been released. According to Department of Labor and Industry senior economist Barbara Wagner, February was another strong month for job growth in Montana.
Montana's unemployment rate was at 4.3% in February. That's down 0.1 of a percentage point from last month, and that's just a continuation of the lower and lower unemployment rates that we've been seeing throughout the last 3 years. Actually, it's longer than 3 years. Since 2010, we have been basically going on a long-term downward trend.
Wagner says the state added about 3,000 jobs last month. Not only is the state adding jobs, but unlike the rest of the country, wages appear to be rising as well.
Wage growth in Montana has been pretty good, even throughout the recession, which is different than the national economy. There's been a lot of reports nationally about how wages have been stagnant since the recession. That's not been true in Montana. We don't have the final wage data for 2014, but our preliminary data suggests that there's about 3.5% wage growth.
Because of low inflation due to dropping gas prices, Wagner says that at this time, nearly all wage growth will actually go into workers' pockets. And finally, Montana's nearing final approval of a bill defining and prohibiting bullying in Montana, the only state without any anti-bullying laws. Bullying victims have poured into Montana legislature throughout the vetting process with no opponents except skeptics who question if the measure is necessary because recently adopted state regulations provide similar protections. News Talk time now is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly sunny skies today with our highs in the upper 60s to right around 70. Partly cloudy tonight with our lows in the upper 30s. We'll see increasing showers and gusty winds on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13.